I'm down for the Dodgers to make this move. John Heyman's reporting that the Dodgers, Yankees, Orioles, and Phillies, as well as the Chicago Cubs, have interest in pursuing a trade for Tanner Scott. And if you are new to the program, Dodgers Dugout Live, first of all, subscribe. But if you're older to the program, if you've watched this show for years, I've been talking about Tanner Scott as one of the missing pieces for this bullpen for quite some time. And yes, the walk rate is high this season. Yes, he did get off to a slow start this year. But Tanner Scott, and when you look at how much he would cost and the fact that he would be a rental unless the Dodgers get an extension done or try to sign him in the offseason, but he's only under contract for the remainder of this season. And the ERA sitting at 174. Expected numbers have gone down last couple of weeks. 3.25 expected ERA, 4.13 expected FIP. The strikeout rate has gone down from 12 last season down to 9.87. Walk rate has ballooned from 270.77 to 610. But still, this is an impact reliever that, yes, Alex Vesia has had a really great year and I still think that we have to see it in the postseason to fully out of that trust tree per se, right? But you look at the expected numbers of Tanner Scott, 97th percentile in expected batting average, 89th percentile in fastball velocity. That's the difference between the regular season and the postseason. Alex Vesia, a lot of success in the regular season, hasn't had that same amount of success in the postseason, hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but Tanner Scott averaging 96.5 miles per hour on his four-seam fastball. He goes with a four-seam fastball 58.7% of the time, the slider 41.1% of the time. So really a four-seam fastball slider pitcher, and I love the expected stuff. Only thing he needs to correct is the command. The walks are high right now. The barrel rate is a little lower than we've seen as far as percentiles in the 43rd percentile, but hard hit percentage, limits hard contact, high ground ball rate, average exit velocity is low. Get me Tanner Scott. Get me Tanner Scott from the Miami Marlins. That is the reliever you need to add. He's number one right now because Mason Miller, the cost is going to be too high. And right now you don't have the luxury of sending all those prospects for a Mason Miller, right? You need another starter. You need another outfielder, right? So Tanner Scott's someone that can be had on the cheaper side when you consider the value. But some comments. What are your guys' thoughts on Tanner Scott? Do you guys want Tanner Scott on the Los Angeles Dodgers? What up, D-Mac? What up, BT Foul? D-Mac, who you trading for Tanner Scott? I mean, you really wouldn't have to give a lot of top prospects when you look at the fact that Tanner Scott in his contract situation, he is going to be expiring, right? You don't have to worry about that. For someone like a Tanner Scott, you wouldn't have to give up a top 10 prospect. You wouldn't have to give up someone like a Josue DePaula or a Dalton Rushing, some of these prospects that we've been talking about, for names like Luis Robert Jr. or names like Garrett Crochet or anything like that. You wouldn't have to do that. I mean, you could definitely go on the lower side, right? I mean, who knows what the Marlins are after, but you would definitely not have to give a top prospect, right? I mean, they have a lot of great prospects. Austin Gothier, the Jake Geloffs, guys like that are lower on the totem pole right there. I think for them, I mean, you look at the deal they did a couple years ago for Kyle Hurt and Alex Vesia for Dylan Floro. They're definitely going to want some pitchers back. But yeah, even if it's a Ronan Kopp or a Justin Robleski, who's been really, really good, Tanner Scott is someone that can absolutely have a big impact on your bullpen, because there's no guarantee that a Brusdar Graterol is going to come back and be effective. Daniel Hudson, as good as he's been, it feels like it's always touch and go. Joe Kelly, it always takes one pitch for him to go on the IL. For as great as his bullpen has performed in certain spots, they definitely could use some stability. And I think Tanner Scott is someone that is one of those postseason game-changing impact pitchers that they could certainly add. But a couple more. We got to Ohtani, LFG. Did he hit a home run? We're live in the game now, or what? A Dodgers show. Yeah, we're about to wrap right here, guys. So we are going to Mr. Siva. You trade Rushing, expect a riot heading by I don't think they would trade Dalton Rushing unless they feel like he's going to change. I mean, they have a catcher for 10 years, right? And he'll probably catch for at least 4 or 5 of those years at the very least in Will Smith. But unless Dalton Rushing is going to move to third, which they definitely have a need there at some point, you have to take advantage of that.